Hey, today I'm going to be showing you how to build a computer from start to finish. But first, ESD safety is most important, so make sure you have an anti-static mat and a wrist strap, and just plug that in there like so. And make sure it's plugged into an outlet, and then you're ready to start. So right here we have three things. We have a CPU, heatsink, CPU, and then your RAM. You're gonna put in the RAM first, and if you want your RAM to be dual channel, you have to make sure you put it in the same color slots. So we're gonna put it in the blue. Like so, you just slide it in. And you push down. And you do the same thing for the other slot. Like so. Alright, the next thing we have is the CPU. And this motherboard is LGA. And that is what Intel uses as their pins for their CPU. And AMD uses PJ, which stands for pin grid array. So instead of them being on here, they're actually on the CPU. So anyway, now we're gonna put in our CPU. You wanna make sure you have it lined up with the triangles right there. And then you just drop it in like so. Make sure it's secure. Close the plate. You're gonna feel a lot of tugging because it's secure in there, and then you shut it. Next part that we have to install is the CPU cooler, because if you don't, your CPU is going to overheat and then your computer is going to overheat. So there's 4 pins on the bottom of this cooler, and you want to line them up to the 4 holes that are on the motherboard. So preferably what you want to do is you want to turn it to a way to where the cord can reach right here. So put it on like so. And this cooler isn't in the best condition, but basically you want to push down until you feel it click, and then you twist them to tighten it. See the arrows on them?
Ew, that's you. Oh my gosh. That's me. That's you. That's you. Bruh.
Now, this CPU cooler is actually half broken, so this is not going to work. Alright, so on this, only 2 of the pins can actually go in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to install the header for the CPU fan. And that goes right there, like so. There's a thing that you can line it up with to make sure you're putting it in the right spot. And now we're ready to put it into the case. Alright, now that we have everything that we need on the motherboard installed, it is time to start putting the motherboard into the case, but first we need to get in the case. So on the back here, you're going to see 2 screws. You want to take them out. They should be pretty simple to take out. They're just thumb screws. And then you want to slide the case back panel off, and it should come off like so. Now, you should see all these little screw holes. These are where your motherboard screws are going to come. And they should, well, as long as you get an efficient motherboard, should come with all the screws that you need. And ours happen to have a red washer on them, so you can differentiate them between all the other screws you're using. And once you have all your screws ready, you can take your motherboard. Be very careful when handling it. You want to line up the IOs, all these, with the ones in the back of your case.
Except for when I wake up.
Make sure that no cables are getting in the way, because that'll stop your motherboard from falling into place. Then, once that's in, all you want to do is you want to line up your screws. You want to take a screwdriver. These are Phillips head. And all you want to do is screw them into your motherboard. And this will happen for all the screws that are in here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 screws on the motherboard. Alright, now that we've finished installing all the screws on our motherboard, as you can see, it should be stable and it should not be falling out. There should not be any lean to the motherboard at all, because all the screws are in, and now we are ready to put our optical drive in. Alright, so your optical drive is typically going to look like this, and what you want to do is you want to line it up at the very top of the case. You just want to slide it in until you can see the screw holes, or until it's right there. Alright, now you want to take your optical drive screws, and all you want to do is just screw them in, like so. Okay, maybe. There should only be 2 screws to the optical drive, so on this side. There's 2 on each side. If you don't have all 4, then I recommend finding a place to get them, because without them you're kind of needing. And there's 2 more on the back panel of the case, right here. And what you want to do is just screw those 2 in, just like you did with the first 2.
What? Oh my god.
And then once we finish putting these screws in, we are ready to put in our hard drives.
No, I think I'm gonna drink this.
And we are now ready to start putting in our hard drive. Alright, so now we are ready to install the storage unit of our computer, which is our hard drive. Typically, this is what they look like. There's a sticker on top, and your case should come with a drive bay. And what you want to do is, when installing the hard drive, you should see this. All you want to do is slide it in there. You make sure the sticker is up, because if it's not, it won't go in correctly. And then there should be 4 screws that you need to install into the hard drive. And just take a screwdriver. Install those 3 screws, and your hard drive should be secure, and we'll be ready to put it in the case.
Here, why don't you start recording while I'm doing this, and I can just kind of talk about what cable and stuff.
And once that's in, your drive should be secure like so, and we're ready to put it in the case. So all you want to do is, because this has a fan on it, you want to make sure the fan doesn't get in the way, or the fan header doesn't get in the way. You want to line this up. Same thing you did with the optical drive. And just slide it in, like so. And now all we have to do is put the screws in. So typically you want to have 2 screws on each side of your hard drive, and they should just come with the case, but all you want to do is just screw them in like so. For this case, they're like these big thumb screws, but they might be different depending on what case you have. And you want to do the same thing on the back. Alright, so now that we have our drive installed and the second empty drive bay that we also had to install, we are ready to start putting in our GPU or our graphics card. This is what's going to give you your display, give you any display at all, because if you didn't have it, you would be able to see anything that you were doing on your computer. So you should see a long port right here. This is a PCIe slot. All you want to do is line it up with the 2 things, the pins right down there. You want to do that, and there should be a little lock right here. You want to pull that up till it clicks. And all you have to do is screw in the graphics card. And
You had one job.
You're the one who put it in. I should put it in the right place. It's supposed to be there.
This?
Yes.
Christy, you want to have a fun time later?
You're the one who put it there.
all right, so once you have your graphics card screwed in, we are now ready to move on to the power supply. Now, this is a non-modular power supply, and there's a difference between the two. Modular means that you won't have all these different cables coming out of your power supply. This is a non-modular, so we have to deal with all the cables that are coming out. So basically, what you want to do is you want to slide it in so that it lines up with the back of your case, like this. And then all you want to do is you want to take your screws and you just want to make sure it's lined up first, because if you don't have it lined up, your screws won't all go in right. And you want to do that for this, and this. Power supply installed. You're ready to start plugging it in. Now, I'd like to mention that we did make sure that we separated all of the cords that we did not need, because all we need to plug in is our power, our graphics card, our hard drive, our optical drive, and the fans, and the CPU. So first thing we're going to install is our 24-pin for our power to our PC. So all you want to do is you want to line it up with all of the squares, and okay. And then you just want to make sure, if you hear it click, that means it went in. And next thing that we're going to be installing is the CPU. Plugging in. All you want to do is you want to make sure you can see that little clip right there on the CPU port, and you just want to plug that in until you hear it click, and then that's in. Now we're going to be installing, we're going to be plugging in our drives next, and this is typically what your cord for your drives are going to look like. So basically all you want to do is take this SATA port, should be an L shape, and this is a little hard to put in because of the space that we have. Once that's in, then you do the same thing, and this is really convenient because it comes with two of them. Once you have both of those in, now we're ready to put in our graphics card. So your graphics card takes PCIe, like right here, and you want to line up this pin with these 6. So you can plug that in right here. And what you want to do is plug it in right there, as so. You should hear a click. That's how you know it's in. And now we're ready to plug in our fan motors. Alright, so once your PCI is plugged in, you actually want to have this one plugged in right here too. Then you're ready to move on to your fans. So your fan headers for your power is just going to look like this. All you want to do is just take it, plug it in right there, and then you're ready to move on to the headers. Alright, now we're ready to start on our headers for our case. So these are your front panel headers. This is going to vary depending on what motherboard you have. So you want to make sure you either look through the manual or you look it up online, because how you plug these in varies depending on what motherboard you have. And now we're ready to move on to plugging in our SATA right here. And for this one, you have a blue and a red. All you want to do is line them up right here. Plugs in easily like so. And you want to go down to the bottom left or right on our case of our motherboard. There should be a SATA port. There should be a lot of SATA ports actually. You just plug that in like so. And then our second one goes into our optical drive. Do the same exact thing. And that goes in exactly the same as the other one. And then your SATA's in. Alright, so the next thing would be cable management. For time's sake, we're not going to actually cable manage this PC. But typically you do want to cable manage your PC, whether it be zip ties or straps, whatever you want to use, because you don't want your wires getting all tangled if you need to go in and repair something or change something, or just overheating in general. So yeah, now we're ready to put the back and front panel of our case back on. Alright, so now we're ready to start putting our panels for our case back on. It's the same process as taking them off, all you want to do, except this time all you want to do is slide them in, and they should just slide in simply like so. And then this one came with 2 thumb screws, so all you want to do is put in each like so, and one at the top here. And then we're gonna do our back panel. So all you want to do for that is flip your PC up like this, and you want to line it up the same way you lined up the other one. Same thing. And oh, I almost forgot to mention, if you run your cables through the back when you're cable managing your PC, make sure that there is enough room for your back panel to still be put on. Because sometimes, if you don't tighten it enough, it will not fit. But anyway, you just put this back on, find the screw hole, screw that in, and with that, this PC build is complete.